The House at Hollow Creek. Chapter 2. The First Warning. Morning light filtered through the dusty curtains, painting the room in pale gold. Clara stretched, her body heavy with the remnants of the strange dream. For a moment, she almost laughed at herself, spooked by creaks, shifting newspapers, and shadows. She reminded herself she wasn't here to scare easily. She was here to write. She grabbed her notebook, reviewed the notes she'd scribbled the night before, and circled the phrase, "The Curse of Hollow Creek." It was the perfect hook for her article. Whether the curse was real or not didn't matter. People loved reading about mystery and tragedy. Still, she couldn't shake the image of that newspaper headline. She remembered the ink glistening as though freshly printed. She told herself it was her imagination, but doubt clung to her like cobwebs. Later that morning, Clara walked to the town square. The streets were nearly empty. A few shopkeepers swept their porches, and the sounds of a church bell drifted through the crisp autumn air. Hollow Creek was quiet, too quiet. Her first stop was the library. The building loomed with its tall stone pillars and heavy oak doors, just as it had when she was a child. She pushed one open, the hinges groaning like something alive. Inside, the air smelled of old paper and floor polish. Rolls of books stretched into the gloom. Behind the front desk sat Mrs. Whitmore, the librarian. Clara blinked. Whitmore. "Good morning," Clara said, cautiously. The woman looked up. Her hair was a strict bun of silver, her eyes sharp despite her age. "You're Clara Hayes," she said, her voice smooth but cold. Clara hesitated. "Yes, I used to live here. You remember me?" "I remember everyone," Mrs. Whitmore said. She studied Clara with an intensity that made her skin prickle. "You shouldn't have come back." The words were so blunt that Clara laughed nervously. "I'm just here for research. I'm working on a school project." Mrs. Whitmore's lips thinned. "And you think the house at Hollow Creek is just a project?" Clara's pulse quickened. "So you do know about it?" "Everyone in this town knows about it," the woman said. She leaned forward. "And we also know better than to disturb it." Clara scribbled notes in her notebook. What really happened to the Whitmore family? A flicker of pain crossed the librarian's face. Then it was gone. The past is better left buried. "Please," Clara pressed. "Even rumors could help. Anything you remember." Mrs. Whitmore stood up abruptly, her chair scraping the floor. "Leave it alone, Miss Hayes. Some doors, once opened, can never be closed again." Before Clara could respond, the woman vanished between the shelves, leaving only the faint echo of her footsteps. On her way out, Clara stopped by the bulletin board near the entrance. Faded flyers for bake sales and town meetings curled at the edges. Among them, half hidden, was a photograph. It showed the Whitmore mansion decades ago, proud, towering, its windows gleaming. A family stood on the porch, a man, a woman, 3 children. Their faces were blurred with age and fading ink. but someone had scrawled a word across the bottom in thick black marker. Liars. Clara's skin prickled. She pulled out her phone to take a picture, but the moment she focused the camera, the photo was gone. Nothing remained on the board except yellowed paper and tacks. Her stomach twisted. She hurried out into the daylight, trying to convince herself she hadn't imagined it. Ethan found her sitting on a bench by the square fountain, scribbling furiously in her notebook. "You're already working, aren't you?" Ethan asked. She looked up, startled. "You scared me." "That's ironic," Ethan muttered, sitting beside her. "So, what did you find?" "Plenty," Clara said. "Everyone's so secretive. That librarian, Mrs. Whitmore, she knows something. She practically told me to stay away from the house." Ethan's face darkened. "You should listen to her." Clara shook her head. "That's exactly what makes it a good story. No one wants to talk about it. Why? What are they hiding?" Ethan hesitated, his hands tightening into fists. "Clara, people died there, the Whitmore family, and maybe others. My uncle used to hear he heard screams from the house at night when he was a boy. Then one night he went there with friends, only he came back. He never talked about what happened, but he was never the same after that." Clara's heart thumbered. "You're telling me this now?" "I thought if I ignored it, maybe you'd leave it alone," Ethan said, his eyes haunted. "But I know you too well. You won't stop until you see it for yourself." "You're right," Clara said softly. "But you'll come with me, won't you?" His jaw tightened. Finally, he nodded. "Just promise me one thing. If it feels wrong, we leave. Immediately." Clara smiled faintly. "Deal." That evening, they drove to the edge of town. The sky was bruised, purple with dusk, and mist curled through the trees. The road grew narrower, more broken, until finally it ended at a rusted gate. Through the bars, Clara saw the mansion. It rose like a carcass against the twilight, its walls rotting, windows shattered, roof caved in places. The trees seemed to bend away from it, as if refusing to touch the ground it stood on. A chill washed over her. For the first time, she wondered if she had made a mistake. Ethan cut the engine. "We shouldn't be here," he whispered. Clara took a deep breath. "Tomorrow. We'll come back tomorrow in daylight. For now, I just want a closer look." They stepped out of the truck. Gravel crunched underfoot. The iron gate groaned when Clara touched it, swinging open as though it had been waiting. A crow screeched from a branch above and took flight. The sound echoed in the silence, too loud, too sharp. Clara raised her notebook, jotting every detail. Gates unlocked, air colder, strange atmosphere. But then she stopped. From one of the broken windows, a figure was watching. For a heartbeat, she thought it was just a trick of the fading light. But no, she saw the outline clearly. Tall, gaunt, unmoving. Its face was hidden in shadow, but its gaze burned into her bones. Her pen slipped from her fingers. When she blinked, the window was empty. They drove back in silence. Clara's hands trembled in her lap, but her excitement burned brighter than fear. The story was real. Something was alive in Hollow Creek. That night, she dreamed again of the house. This time, the door didn't stand open. It slammed shut in her face. And from inside came a whisper, so close it seemed to brush her ear. "Welcome home, Clara."